What's up, RegenAG Nation? Want to bring you out. We've got a little series that we want to do in pathogens, diseases, things like that we see when we're out in the field. Out here in a field of potatoes, kind of getting towards the end of the season, maybe about a month left here. One of the things that starts happening is after all this material gets really long and starts laying down, you'll see a lot of dead material down in between, and it gets kind of covered in the mat. As you can see, look over here, these plants get really big and you see a lot of dead material. And when you see dead material in the soil, it wants to get broken down by something. A lot of times these pathogens that are soil borne, they basically are degraders and they want to degrade this material. Well, the problem with this is you still have live material in the field that you don't want to be degraded yet, and it's starting to get degraded by these pathogens. So why don't you come down here, you'll kind of see some of this stuff and what's going on here. But basically, as this material touches the soil surface, it'll start to get kind of broken down, and that's where you'll see some of these vines that are still attached to potatoes down in the soil, and they're wanting to get broken down. We're a month early from where we want this to happen. So as you can see, this white mold's kind of taken over any of these vines that it's connected to. It'll kind of shut down and stop that flow of carbohydrates and things coming down into the potatoes. So jump over here. We're going to dig some of these out, take a look at the actual potatoes. It shouldn't really cause a problem with the potatoes themselves. It's more just the vines that are on top of the soil. And it's going to cut down that energy that goes to them. So as you can see, these potatoes are already set really well. They've got nice skins, so we're looking pretty good in a field like this. But it can cause the foliage to go down a lot sooner than what we want. We want these things to last another 3-4 weeks so that we can dig them when it's a little bit cooler. They'll go into storage and store for roughly 9 months until they come out of there and they're processed. Want to show you some of the things that we're doing to evaluate the spuds as well. So as you can see, we've actually dug up a plant. We can see what's underneath that hill. This is a good size profile. We see something like this. This is probably a 12-ounce potato. It's on the upper end of the contract size. All these things will be weighed into sizes essentially, and then they'll be looking at quality. So if you could create the perfect set of potatoes underneath, you'd have a good set of probably 10-12 spuds underneath there, and they'd all be around that 10-ounce size. Versus what we have here, we've got a little bit of range on that size. But one of the most important things that we're doing is we're going to cut these things open, and we're going to evaluate how they look all the way through. We want to make sure that we don't have any sugar ends that start to form. We want to make sure that we don't have any brown center or hollow heart in here. We want to look at the outsides of the skins, make sure that we don't have any scab or anything like that. So these things are looking really good from that standpoint, a quality standpoint. We cut some open earlier. We just want you to see what something like hollow heart might look like. As you can see, there's certain times of the year where we tend to get some stress that will happen. Maybe we'll come through and we'll have a really big heat event as these things are just forming in a particular size. So what happens is you get some areas that don't fully form in there. They don't get the calcium, all those nutrients that we're trying to densely pack in there. And what we'll end up with is something like this, which, if this potato is whole and you can't see it, then, as it sits in storage for 9 months, it starts to kind of degrade. Also, if you can imagine, if they're trying to make fries or chips or something out of this, and it's got those internal defects, then that quality won't be good on the output. So what they'll do is they'll bring these things in, they'll weigh up how much you have out of the field, and then they'll subsample to make sure that you have great quality. And when you do, they're going to pay you a certain percentage on that size profile and quality, all that stuff. So we see stuff like this, we love it. Size profile's good, quality's good, super stoked about it. And we just wanted to kind of bring that to you so you can see what's going on with your food, right? Everybody loves fries, everybody loves bakers, I mean the whole thing. So what's cool is we're getting to the point where we're gonna harvest these things. They'll be on your table, they'll be in your bag, they'll be, you know, something that you'll be frying up and enjoying with the whole family, and that's what it's all about. Safe food, nutritious food, and remember, when you're doing these things, when you're gardening, when you're out here in the fields and you're enjoying farming, just make sure you make it fun.